afternoon. Welcome to Public Facilities, Arts, and Culture Committee. It is Tuesday? Yeah, right?
23rd.
Thanks. All of those things. January 23rd. So we do not have any public comment signups. So let's see who is here. I know I'm here. Councilmember Kapp is absent. Councilmember Eastlick. Thank you. Councilmember Ewing.
I am also here.
Thank you so much. And Vice Chair Vo. Present. And Councilmember Welsh.
I too am here.
I appreciate
Dear
you all
leader.
for being present. Okay, so it looks like we have 4 resolutions that are promptly filed, and we have 1 late filed resolution. So let's go ahead and go through, starting with number 1. RS 2024-174 by Councilmember Porterfield approves a sole source contract between the Metropolitan Government and Mid-South Recreation, Inc. to provide do more products such as billiards, receptacles, tables, bike racks, and benches for the Metro Parks Department. Can I get a, wow, thank you.
I almost forgot.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I have a question before we even go into discussion. So we have a typo here. Is this going to be something?
What's the typo?
Isn't it billiards? It's not
No, it's
ballers.
ballers.
Is it really ballers?
Ballers.
Definitely knows. There starts discussion.
They're
It's
little
bike
pillars
rack.
of concrete
You know,
or metal.
Bike lane.
Those things you can smash into and
They're
hurt
called
yourself?
bollards, yes.
It keeps people
Fantastic.
from like driving down greenways.
Things you can hurt yourself with. Okay. Any other discussion?
Is there, why is this sole source?
Sole Source, Do More Products has been in parks for probably 20 years. There, we have like 400 trash receptacles and 352 thereabout benches. There, you see these mainly in downtown parks. So to keep it consistent, same style, same product, plus they last a long time. They're made out of cast iron and steel, so they last a long time for us. They wear very well. So to keep from changing that to something hopefully that we not as good, and also that would be a different style, and so we got mix and matching styles. And then we only have to actually have in stock the same style benches. We don't have to keep a bunch of stock of different styles of benches and everything. So it really works out well for us if we can just have the same style and stick with the same style products.
And it's competitively priced?
Yes, ma'am. There are some that are more expensive, but we would also probably have to do the ones that are less expensive. We'd have to try to get those in or go see them or look at what the quality is, because these are, like I said, very heavy. And so they're, for the money we pay, I mean, we get 20 plus years out of them, unless they get hit by a vehicle or hit by a mower, which hopefully we don't hit any, but something like that. So we get a really long lifespan out of the product. So we feel like, as far as longevity, they're cost effective.
When was the last time competitive pricing and analysis was done?
We looked at it. We tried to go online and look for some and try to get the same similar style, and it ranged anywhere from things that were $300 less to things that were $300 more.
When was that done?
We did that last week because we knew this was coming up and kind of looked at it. Now, that doesn't say that we saw everything that was out there, but we just tried to go online and see what we could find.
Councilmember Vo, and then I have a question.
Okay, great. Yes, thank you so much. So Do More Products, like, are they a local company? Are they?
They are not local. We have to go through Mid-South.
Oh, Recreation. Okay,
Recreation,
sorry.
right. They're the local vendor for them. Like a lot of other companies, Do More license areas of the country to different companies, and so they're the ones that are licensed to sell those products in our area.
Okay.
Right.
How much does it cost to replace one that does get damaged? As you
Bench is like around $1,400. $2,000. Trash receptacles about $1,400.
Benches are $2,000 and trash is $1,400.
Right, yes, ma'am. Right, and then right. So that sounds like a lot, but like I said, they're lasting 20 to 25 years, and that's just the ones I know about, because about 10 years ago, I'm not sure, Cindy, we changed to where they're only going to be black in parks, and they're actually dark green on greenways. Right. Well, there's a bunch of light green ones still out there, and those were all bought way before that. So, and they're still out there today.
And they're still in good
They're
condition?
still in good, yes.
You're just gonna repaint them?
Yes,
or-
ma'am. No,
or
a lot of times they just
leave
don't
them?
even need painting. I mean, every day, we're having to touch them up every now and then, but most of the time, something happens, they get broken or something somehow, like in the park. Because the more we can have that is lower maintenance, the lower maintenance items, it really helps us out, so we don't have to go out there and constantly replace and repair things.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Welch, did you have your hand up?
No.
Oh, okay, well, Councilmember Ewing hasn't asked a question, so if you would go.
I was just going to say, have we been sole sourcing with this company for
Yes, ma'am.
the last 20 years?
Yes, ma'am. And then whatever new parks that are done then these products are also bought with those new parks and everything. This is our standard. It's Greenway's a standard, except it's a dark green bench.
Greenway's design standards to maintain that identity across the system so that you know you're on a greenway. The site furniture helps identify that so you understand where you are and that you're part of a system. It also helps, if there's replacement, you're being consistent, they are able to quickly get what they need, and we keep that identity.
We try to keep a lot of this stuff in stock, not a lot of it, but enough of it.
Just a little
that we can go
inventory.
and change it out, and then we can order. And that way, this keeps us from having to keep multiple items in stock.
Thank you. Councilmember Eastlick.
When you went and did the competitive pricing, was that just an unofficial kind of internet
Yes, sir.
search?
It was.
Wasn't through
Yes, sir.
procurement?
Yeah,
or
correct.
any
That is correct. Yes, sir.
Contract there? Would
That's
you know
correct.
when the last time we may have done some type of procurement
I do not.
pricing?
I do not, because as far as I know, this has been on sole source for a while.
Would procurement recommend the sole source, or do you guys get to recommend that? I'm just not sure how the procedure goes.
We actually request, we have a form as part of solicitations. There's one called a sole source form, and it goes through purchasing, procurement, and they are pretty strict on what they allow to go through as sole source. And this is one, they were like, yes, we understand. And it was, they pretty much signed off on it, as far as I know, because it went through them.
I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead, go ahead,
I was
Director
just
Odom.
going
Yes,
to-
Director Odom.
I was just going to add that too. This is only a sole source because Mid-South Recreation is the only reseller that we have locally to buy from. If there were another vendor that offered these Do More products, which we have found to be very durable, very reliable and for the length of time that we need them, we would certainly, kind of move around between vendors. But that's the only reason it's a sole source.
Councilmember Bo?
Yeah, so to clarify, Do More products, they can only be sold, like Mid-South has the license for the Do More products, which is the reason why
It's a sole source.
it's sole source, is because of that, not because there's someone else that could buy Do More and we could buy it from them. No one else in this region
Right.
is allowed that.
That's right.
They're not, nobody else is allowed to sell
Sell them.
products in this region.
Okay.
They have protected territories.
And can you tell us, are there other brands like park equipments that, because I only know this learning from you all, are there other park brands that we can look up or that other parks across the country
There
use?
are other, I don't know, we haven't looked,
Okay.
to be honest with you. There are other brands out there, but they could very well, we just don't, we're not familiar with them, don't know the quality. And if we change, then that would probably be, that's double the benches, double the receptacles we need to have on hand, because they get a pretty good beating out there in the public.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Councilmember Eastlick,
At least
are
we
you
can
good?
talk.
Oh, okay. That's offline. Okay. So without any other further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Okay. All righty. Any opposed? Okay. What was your hand for? Was that an aye?
I'm opposed.
You're opposed? Oh, delightful. Okay. Okay, well, the ayes have it. Oh, I knew your name was coming. Okay. Okay, next up, we have RS 2024-175, Porterfield, Welsh, Zwar, and Coopin, approves a child and adult care food program, grant application and accepting a CAC grant from the Tennessee Department of Human Services to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Parks and Recreation Department to provide nutritious meals and snacks for children and adults attending after-school programs in 14 community centers. And I see we have one of the bill sponsors. Councilmember Coopin, did you want to say anything, or
I'm just here in
just
support.
leave it to
I'm just here in support.
Parks? Okay.
Move.
Second.
Thank you and thank you. And discussion. Hold on. Yes, 1 second. Let's let Parks have a say first. Then we'll ask questions. Thank you, ma'am. Could you introduce yourself?
Shanita White, Assistant Director of Finance and Administration. Well, I mean, it's basically self-explanatory. It, like I said, provides meals for our after-school program at 14 community centers.
And I'll just add that this is a continuation grant. This is, we have done this about 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
It is a very popular program among our staff and with those with whom we work and are serving food, nutritious meals at community centers all over the city. So I very much support this and would be pleased if you all would pass it.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the additional information. See, we needed to know it was a continuation
And we
of grant.
started out with 8 centers, and now we're up to 14.
So will this grant make it 14?
This will make it 14.
See, that's another piece of information. See, thank you so much, Director Odom. So support sisterhood. Councilmember Ewing.
Yes, thank you.
Please.
No, I think this is wonderful. I just have a quick question about the term of the grant. How long will this get you through?
It's renewed annually.
Okay.
So it's, we submit it to the Parks Board and to the council on an annual basis. So I'm not sure of what the term that's on, but it is annual.
Okay.
It's on the state fiscal.
We'll be back. So what is it? October to September.
Okay.
We'll be back.
Yes, Councilmember Vice Chair Vo.
Thank you. Has the grant amount increased, especially with y'all going from 8 to 14?
It has.
Can y'all tell us how much the grant is for?
It's in the analysis.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, I just don't have it in front of me.
$704,491.
It's in the analysis.
Okay. Fantastic. Councilmember Welsh.
I just want to say this is a wonderful program, and I know I can see firsthand in my own district the impact this has on families and children after school programs. I think it's wonderful, and I'm so glad it's expanding. It's great.
Fantastic. Councilmember Easlick, anything to say?
All
Okay.
good.
Fantastic. Well, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Delightful. Okay. Resolution passes. Number 3, RS 2024-176, Council Members Coopin, Porterfield, and Welsh accepts an in-kind grant from the Nashville Parks Foundation to Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Board of Parks and Recreation for the second phase of the Watkins Park Pump Track, Watkins Pump Track 2, with completed improvements. Can I get a motion?
Please.
Second.
Thank you so very much. Do we have want discussion on this particular item? Does it seem self-explanatory? I'd like to know what a pump track is.
It is it's a bike track. And so when you have the opportunity, I'll encourage y'all to go over to Watkins Park, which is directly across the street from MLK High School. The pump track was initially funded, that first phase was funded through the Metro Parks Foundation. It was a partnership with the Oasis Center. As you may know, they have a bike repair workshop of sorts, and they allow their youth to rent bikes or use bikes. They come to the park and, kind of use the pump track. And so it needs to be expanded. There needs to be an area added, I think, for younger children with smaller bikes. It is very highly used. And so that's what a pump track is. And this request is basically for fundraising and ultimate acceptance is basically what it is. The foundation wants to raise money for a second phase of the pump track to accommodate younger children, so that we're not mixing age groups. They want to raise money to do that, and then ultimately for us to accept that, with the stipulation that there's a community input session to see if, the community really wants an additional pump track in the park. So that before that occurs, before they actually move forward with fundraising, they will do that kind of community engagement piece, and certainly coordinate with our department to make sure that all parks' best practices are followed and adhered to.
And when are those community conversations supposed to begin?
They have not been scheduled yet, to
Not
my
scheduled.
knowledge.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Any opposed? 0 abstentions. Wonderful. Resolution passes. Next up, number 4, RS 2024-177. Councilmembers Coopin and Porterfield approves Amendment 1 to a license agreement between the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Board of Parks and Recreation and the Lamar Companies for the use of 180 Athens Drive, Nashville, Tennessee 37210. And can I get a motion?
Move.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Whoever would like to address this, what is this?
I will.
You want
Oh,
to do
you
it?
want to go ahead and do it?
I was going to say Jacob knows it's his.
I asked
Any of the three of us
I
can
asked
do
all
it.
sorts of questions.
I will. I'll start it and then pitch it to you all if you,
We'll
if you
take
would
turns.
like. So, as you all may know, what we are currently calling Wharf Park, and it has not been officially named. We acquired that property at, I think it's 180 Anthony Drive. It already had that Lamar billboard on it. And a part of our agreement after we acquired that property with Lamar was that they could leave the billboard there for 18 months, and then they would have to remove it, and they're making payments, would make an annual payment to Metro government through Metro Parks of $9,000. Lamar came to us sometime last year and asked for an extension. They asked for a much longer extension than 18 months. But because on the Wharf Park front, we are kind of at an indefinite timeline, Parks Board agreed to extend it for an additional 18 months, which it will be removed after that. They will continue to pay us the $9,000, pay the $9,000 to Metro. That's it in a nutshell.
Okay, so they paid $9,000 for the first one, and we're getting another $9,000. Okay.
Per month or each?
I think it was
Or just
annual.
one time?
Annually.
So it's just a one time.
Annually.
Any other questions? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Resolution passes. And our late filed,
I won't be here next time.
our late filed resolution, and I am one of the sponsors. It is a resolution approving a grant agreement between Metro Government through Metro Arts and Hands on Nashville for an AmeriCorps program participant to perform volunteer services on Metro Arts community engagement programs and activities. And I'm going to ask Director Daniel Singh of Metro Arts to please explain to the committee.
Sure. Sorry it's late. This is
I'm sorry, I did not mean to rob you of that moment. Forgive me. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Moving on to discussion. Director Singh.
so we thought, sorry it's late, we thought it was going to be an employment contract, but legal told us that it's because AmeriCorps is giving us money, it's technically a grant, so that's why it's late filed. But we're piloting a community engagement program. We want to have the AmeriCorps person work with us for 11 months, 25 hours a week, building community engagement partnerships. Metro Arts staff has been struggling to make all of the commitments because we're often invited to performances, classes to come and observe, and it's really hard for staff to work 40 hours and then also go in the evening and attend these events. So we're hoping this person will help bridge some of the gaps for us. It's also a pilot for us to launch a larger AmeriCorps program in the fall, where we hope to have 8 AmeriCorps staff members working in the community that Metro Arts will bring in. So we were doing internships, and often the community members would say 3 months is not enough. We need a longer time with the person to get our organization because by the time we train them, it's a month, and then they're gone in a month. So we're hoping this will be our pilot, and by August, we're hoping to bring in 8 additional AmeriCorps staff that will work in the community, not with Metro Arts. But
fantastic.
this will help us work out all the kinks for that.
Excellent. Do we have any questions? I mean, there's a lot of nodding, so this is good. Vice Chair Vo.
Yes, thank you so much. Sounds really awesome. Who will be overseeing the,
Metro Arts staff will oversee that.
okay, and then once it's expanded, is there like a person who will be managing it?
Yes.
Is there a goal for that?
Yes. If you get over 6, AmeriCorps provides their manager, so that's why we're using 8.
great.
So
That's very handy.
Okay.
That's why we picked 8, so that we'll get them to manage their volunteers. We'll still like set the schedule and find the partner and all of that, but there'll be an AmeriCorps. Hands-on Nashville will be the partner for us to
Okay.
help manage that.
Are there any other questions? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Delightful. Passes, 6 in favor, 0 against. Okay, so we have a couple other items. Director Monique Odom has been in here and fielding all kinds of questions. Thank you so very much.
Noticed on your agenda.
Oh, that's
So
unfortunate.
that would be an open meetings act violation.
Oh, but we're all here and it's being recorded.
It's not been noticed to the public.
Well, I did send an email about Director Odom coming. I did. The committee has some questions for you, just about parks in general, how things are operating, where we stand, moving forward. So I'd like to give them an opportunity to ask those questions.
Oh, right now.
Yes.
I thought we were giving you a chance to
Well, I
speak
was gonna do
first.
an overview, I was gonna do just a quick, I know your committee
please.
time is short, and I was just going to do an overview, kind of give you the lay of the land of where we are in parks. Many of you, those of you who are newer to council, maybe all of you, I don't recall, were present at the council member orientation. We did a presentation there. It was very high level. And I've met with some of you one-on-one just to talk about Metro Parks and any of your concerns. But our department, our park system, as you all know, spans the entire county. We have about 500 to 600 full and part-time staff, regular staff, that will, of course, increase with seasonal operations. And those, we start to pick those up probably around late February and March for golf courses, Wave Country, our community centers, et cetera, et cetera. Wave Country will open the weekend, Memorial Day weekend, but we really ramp up in for summertime, starting really late February to early March. One of the things that I did want to mention to you all, because the park system is so vast, and our department has been underfunded for quite some time. It's nothing new. It's probably a 30-year issue. One of the things that I like to acknowledge, and I do acknowledge, is that in all the priorities that you all have, which are the entire city, I totally get that education and public safety are at the top. I totally get that and support that. Parks, nevertheless, is the green infrastructure of the city, and we consider ourselves essential. And that became very apparent during the global pandemic. For a long time, parks were the only game in town. Our park system never closed. Our facilities, some of our facilities did close for safety reasons, but we kept greenways and golf courses, not the golf clubhouses, but golf courses were open, and all of the parks remained open and available to the public, and I think we kept a lot of people sane, including myself. But we have, what you will notice, I'll just skip to this, what you will notice when I've met with any of you one-on-one is when we're talking about capital needs for the department, always at the top of the list for me is deferred maintenance, because we need to take care of the system that we have. It is great to have new amenities and new parks, and we should be able to take care of those. And it's not, again, you all have the hard job because you do the appropriating and the make the ultimate decisions. But I know it is nice to always fund new community centers or anything new. It's always great to fund, and we're line, but it's also most responsible of us to be able to take care of the park system that we have. And that includes paving, HVAC, roofs, and all of the myriad items that make up a safe and enjoyable park system. And so I think you will see probably as the CSP, you all come around to the CSP, most of what is on that list that has come from the department are deferred maintenance items, whether it is lighting in a park that you need, or again, HVAC, or paving, et cetera, there for a long time, probably 20 years, our park system was not getting a deferred maintenance appropriation. We started that probably, started to get a regular appropriation. It's uncertain, the amount is never certain, but probably about 11 years ago, we would get a regular appropriation. We haven't always had that. And as you must imagine, in a large park system, aging park system, there are lots of needs, and it is expensive to operate our park system. It just is, and that's just where we are. And I'll wrap up and come to your questions, but I want you also to know that when we are looking at the needs across the city, we are looking with an equity lens. We want to make sure that, for instance, Old Hickory, who has needed that community center update I think you need it for a long time, but it's been on the books for, I know Councilmember Hager and I worked on it probably 6 years ago, before I was director. So that is, a top priority to make sure we get that done, completed. I'm gonna stay on Old Hickory for a moment. One of the things that you will see in our operating budget request for FY25, the number one ask that we will have will be continuation funding for the staff at the new Old Hickory Community Center. So this fiscal year, it was partially funded, and so we will ask for the other half of that. We are scheduled to open that, I think, winter of this year. I'm excited about that. It's been a long time coming. We have a robust and active community out there, particularly the young people at the schools. They love Miss Debbie out there, and we want to make sure that they and the community get the kind of center that they deserve, particularly with all the development that's going on out there. Old Hickory will have dedicated pickleball courts, so that's Lord.
There you go.
So
now they've made the big time.
That will be very, very popular.
We are catching up, yeah.
And speaking of pickleball, I said I'm gonna stop, but we have planned in the department to, as a part of the paving funding that we have requested, it includes paving for basketball courts, tennis courts, and pickleball courts, and the development of pickleball courts.
Great.
Because there, as you may know,
Sweeping the nation.
as sweeping the nation. As you may know, there is some tension between, our tennis folks and pickleball, and ideally, they would not be sharing a court. There are some locations that we have now where separate courts is just not feasible for us. And if it's not, then we have they have to share the court. Again, ideally, they would be separate courts. So where we are able to develop separate pickleball and tennis courts, we are doing that. And again, we incorporate that into the paving funding that we get. And we have not forgotten about basketball and the upkeep on those. Let's see. I think that is, I think I'll stop talking. I did want to let you know about one particular other thing.
One last item and then
One
we'll
last
move to
item, I was just going
questions.
to move on. We're talking about capital investment. We have, and you all who were on council last session know this, we have a participation agreement with the Tennessee Titans for capital improvements at Luby Community Center. And so I'm excited about that. We are working with them. That center needs a lot of love.
Yes, it does.
A lot of TLC and that whole campus. We are pulling in, of course, libraries because they have a branch there as well. So we hope to see some improvements coming to that center that are not Metro funded, but a kind of a public-private partnership pretty soon. So
Excellent.
I'll take your questions.
Council members, questions? Councilmember Ewing.
Okay, so thank you for that overview. Really appreciate it. I'm curious, so you talked about deferred maintenance. I get that completely. I managed building operations for a brief spell, so I get that. You mentioned sort of a chronic lack of funding, and I'm just curious, what has particularly suffered in your mind, aside from deferred maintenance? Like have any big things sort of fallen by the wayside due to this lack of funding?
I'll say, overarching, I'll say, there's just been a lack of upkeep to the standard that we would like to see of the park system. But one item, one location stands out in particular is the Sportsplex. It's a huge operation. We haven't had any, we've been kind of piecemeal. Here's the maintenance guy right here. We've kind of been piecemealing improvements and repairs to the Sportsplex. Right now, we have a cost estimate of about $20 million for that
For the
one.
whole facility.
For the whole facility. The most recent feature at the Sportsplex was the fitness center, and that was
10 years ago?
yeah, 10 years ago. 10 years ago. And so, the Sportsplex is what immediately comes to mind as it's kind of, well, I won't use that word, never mind. It is very expensive to operate and in many ways inefficient. And we would love to shut it down for a period and just do a wholesale improvement exercise on it. That would be great.
If you had your druthers and you could do that, what would that look like if you were to close it down? For how long? And
It'd be a year and a half.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
And that would be, we did that study and looked at it, had a SSR, which does a lot of mechanical stuff, look at that and look at all the systems and what needs to be replaced and everything, and it would be a year and a half. We're actually gonna shut the pool down July 5th or 6th this year. I gotta make sure I get that date right, don't put that out anywhere. But right around there, to replaster both pools. Both pools have 3 coats of plaster. They're well worn, so now we gotta take it all off and put new plaster on. We're also taking an opportunity, we're gonna be closed about 3 months. We're gonna redo the pool mechanicals, some of those. We also, there's dehumidification systems in the pool area. There's half of that system has been not operational for 15 years.
I'm sorry.
Correct. So 40%, apologize. And so we are now starting, I think we'll be starting in March, replacing that system. So that system will be up and running probably not too many months before we shut it down for a little while. And then the other system that has been in the dehumidification, depending on funding we get, we're going to try to get that unit also replaced. The whole building, late 80s when it opened.
Yeah.
So all those systems with pools, as anybody knows who's had a pool.
And that's big pools
Right,
in there.
right,
That's
it's
the
a very
most
big pool.
expensive feature in a building is the pool.
Is the pool,
You got
yeah.
Anywhere.
2 ice rinks on the other side.
Yeah.
One,
They gotta be close.
one
Right.
services, rink B services, the Predators practice rink. And those also are very expensive.
I gotta run, I gotta know. Thank you all for your time.
Okay. Vice Chair Vogt.
Yes. Can you tell us why you would close it in July when people would still be using the pool and not wait until the end of the season?
That's a wonderful question, and we wanted to close it this fall. NAC, Nashville Aquatic Club, who's a contractor with us to use it to train swimmers, about to come after me for a lynching because of the fact that they have Olympians they're training for the Olympics that comes
The
up.
fall is the big season. The summer you can swim outside and train. You can't, in the wintertime, you gotta swim inside.
Right, so they're getting ready for nationals to go to the Olympics, so they have a lot of swimmers involved in that. So that they agreed to the July timeline after the Olympics that gives us time to shut it down. It's not, they don't have the great need. They understand the need for the maintenance. And so we decided to bump that because we wanted to do it this fall. We've already had to do some mechanical repairs that we warned them that mechanicals are in pretty bad shape on the pool end. So so that's why it got moved to July.
Okay. And I'll just say too, I just wanted to add too, I know that you all have, not as a council, have also heard from General Services and heard about, supply chain issues. We also have those issues with, like some of our HVAC, they're on order and it takes 10 months to get them, and maybe we get them and then it's pushed out more. And so we're constantly moving timelines and trying to work.
The HVAC system at the Sportsplex, your chiller that's there that does all the air conditioning for the whole building, is 37 years old. We're buying parts off eBay to keep it running.
How much and unfortunately, we do have to begin to wrap this up. How much to replace that?
Almost $900,000. We are actually, it will be replaced this spring.
Yeah, we got it.
We ordered it, the unit back in July of last year.
Okay.
And we're just gonna get it in March or April. So that long, and that's a 100-ton chiller. Those big items like that have huge lead times. So it takes us, it takes us a while to get that done.
Okay.
And dehumidifier, dehumidification equipment, that's like a 36 to 40 week lead time.
Wow. I'm really grateful that you came today because I think we got a really great understanding of what is really happening in parks, more so than I think I've heard in the last 4 years. So.
And they're hiring great new employees. That's all I'm gonna
Yes.
say.
Gee, I wonder to whom you're referring, former Councilmember Rowe. So we gotta get the other guy. Okay. Thank you very much for coming. Very much appreciate it. If we have other questions, I will send them to you.
Okay.
As we're going into budget and looking at everyone's requests. I think this is really helpful for us to keep in mind, because I know in the past, a lot of times the question has come down to parks. Well, look at what's going on with parks and the budget and what's not filled in these positions. Let's just come and ravage parks. So we need to understand why not.
Yeah.
Why not to always cherry pick in that direction. With that,
Can I just, Metro Arts is going to be at the White House for the National Endowment for the Arts, this 29th and the 30th for the work around equity and arts we're doing. So I just wanted to share the good news with you.
congratulations. That's a good look for
That's
Nashville,
exciting.
tremendously. Thank you very much, Director Singh. So,
Got me in trouble.
did I? Okay. We have, I don't think rules has started yet. Will you do me a favor? Can you get Tim Jester to come in here really quickly before rules starts? So we can ask, if everybody has any questions regarding the Metro Arts appointments that are taking place. He's got 7
Thank you
minutes.
so much for your time.
Thank you, Parks, thank you.
Shoot high on your budget request.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Again, and if you can print up what you just shared with us, because
will.
that's something that we can share with the council, because again, we've never heard this.
And then too, I will also include the operating side. You talked about positions and vacancies and all that. I put some information in there about that.
That will be excellent.
I will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director Odom, appreciate it. Okay, thank you. So, tonight, as you know, we have some board and commission appointments, Metro Arts being one of them. So Tim Jester is one of the nominees, and so you have 6 minutes before you have to go into rules, but I thought it would be good for the Arts Committee to actually have a chance to say hello to you and ask any questions they may have. So if you want to give us a 1-minute elevator speech, and then anyone who has questions can ask questions.
Sure. My name is Tim Jester. I am Councilman Eastlick's constituent, live up in historical Hickory, where I was glad to hear that we're going to be getting the community center in a timely fashion. I have played the violin my entire life, so I've been involved in arts from a very young age. I've played music in bands, string quartets, never been fully professional, but semi-professionally, so I've been around the arts. I appreciate the arts. I also believe that, right below ability to eat and not be hungry and education, that arts is the #1 way that we can bring each other together. And so I think it's very, very important that we fund arts appropriately. I was a little shocked to find out the budget of the arts that the Arts Commission has. And so I think we need to fight to increase the amount that we have to be able to give to arts endeavors around the county. I just also want to say that while I cannot help my gender or my race, I believe that equality is very important. And so we should be looking to the people that need this funding the most, and maybe not particularly the organizations that I wouldn't say don't need, but could also throw one more gala and raise the kind of money that we have to give them. And so I'm committed to helping the artists and musicians around the county that need the most help.
Well, thank you very much for that.
Sure.
Does anybody have a question?
What particular skills do you feel like you bring to the Arts Commission to help us? Because one of the things that we're looking at is looking through an equity lens. And what particular skills do you feel like you bring bring to the Arts Commission to help us do that and expand our equity funding and hiring and all that?
Sure. Well, I think my biggest strength is that I have a pragmatic mind and I'm willing to listen and to make decisions based on my morals and my values, and my morals and values are those of equality and opportunity. I also have a finance background, so I can look at numbers and understand what those numbers are saying. And I also understand what it's like to be a musician. And I've always had another job, so I've never tried to live fully on a musician's income. But those jobs didn't always pay well, and so I can certainly say to some degree that I've been a struggling artist in my life. I'm not anymore, but I was, and so I just know what it's like to be in an artist position and to need more.
Did you just tell us
Yeah, I
to do a
think we need
timeout?
to pause.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think we have to pause because
Yeah.
it's a public notice thing, I think.
Yeah, I think it's
Doing
not,
what we're doing.
Well,
it's not.
I think you asked a very key question, so at least we got that one through the gate.
Before the lawyer pulled the chair out.
Well, I would love your support, so yeah, thank you. Guess I'm not supposed to say any more either.
Okay, we're not supposed to do anything.
Okay. 1 second. Okay. So, we have gone way over our time. So, Councilmember Welsh is the only question that we do get to ask. However, I appreciate your response, and that was very helpful for the committee to hear
Sure,
before you go into rules. Since you are coming from Metro Arts, it makes sense that you're with the Arts Committee. So, thank you very much for popping in here.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Director Singh, for stopping by. Congratulations on going to the White House. That is fantastic.
Take lots of pictures.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Tell us how it
thank you.
goes.
And now, can I get a movement to adjourn? Okay. Second? Okay. With that, we're adjourned.